What if I tell you there is one skill that is being used by the most powerful to gain power or to exercise their power? The skill that have built empires, that have destroyed relationships, the skill that decides if you will lead, remembered, or get ignored. The skill is communication. Good morning. Communication. What if I tell you communication is an evolutionary game changer? What do I mean by that and why do I say it? To understand that, we need to first understand what is communication. Communication is the process of exchanging information, ideas, feelings. So, this is what a communication is. When we talk about evolution in here, we are not referring to the evolution from a monkey to a human. We are talking about an evolution from hunter gatherer to a modern human being that we are today. So, what is that one thing that would have, accounted for our growth or improvement, or let's say an evolution? What would that be? It would be the sharing of information, ideas, the collaboration, the invention. These are the things that have definitely helped us to evolve faster as a human being and to be better than what we were yesterday. So, for example, if you see way back in 2000, how we were as a humans, like how was our television, how was our mobile, and how was the technology. And I mean, if you look into it, we have evolved a lot in terms of technology, the medicine, the science, and everything have advanced a lot from 2000 to 2025. I'm not saying before that we are not that advanced. Yes, we were definitely advanced in some aspects, but in particular from 2000 to 2025, we're just taking this for an example. If you understand that a lot of things have changed. So what led to this drastic change? If you think about it, you can come down to one answer. I mean, there are n number of answers, but you can boil it down to one thing, which is the internet. What have internet accounted for? Internet have accounted for the easy transfer of information, the ideas of people. For example, if something happens in US, let's say an hour ago, if he starts to publish it in the internet, I think it will be worldwide known within minutes. So this was the transmission of ideas and information have played an important role in our evolution. So now, in order to emphasize the importance of communication in our life, I'm just going to give you a two example, a real life example. So number one is about an individual called Mr. V. We'll just call him Mr. V. So what have happened in Mr. V's life is that he's basically has an hearing impairment, due to which he's not able to understand when his boss says something to him, and due to that he's not been able to effectively be a part of their communication, or he's not able to understand what his boss says, and because of what he cannot understand or cannot hear it properly, so he's not able to give any valuable inputs to the conversation, so which have resulted somewhat in him losing his job. The number two is about one of my friend. He has no impairment whatsoever, but his downside was that he was not an effective communicator. So what do I mean by effective communication and everything? We'll detailedly discuss about it in the future. But for now, when we say he's not an effective communicator, is that he was not able to convey a message in the right tone. That is, although if you have rights in your side, and when you talk to your boss or when you talk to somebody in an authority, if you're not setting the tone right when you talk to them, it can probably offend them, and it can result in you being get hurt. So similar a situation was in his case, that we can term communication as a social oxygen. Because have you ever felt there are some people, even though they are there, they are sort of invisible. Why am I saying this is I have experience dealing with clients who are impaired, as well as I have experience with individuals who were not able to communicate properly. So those individuals who are hearing impaired, what happens is that they will isolate themselves from being involved in any social interaction, which would sort of make them invisible. Now if an individual is not able to hear properly, people will try to talk to them a couple of times, or three or four times, but after that, when they understand that okay, this individual is not able to hear and I'll have to repeat a lot of time, people have no patience. So eventually they will try to avoid communicating to this individual, and in turn they will become invisible. Same could happen in a relationship where a husband is not able to hear or a wife is not able to hear. They'll not be able to have a conversation, so which can lead to a problem in their relationship. So that is one aspect. Now the second aspect is in a career. Let's say there are a group of people who are engaged in a business meeting, or a team who works for some sort of a development or something. Let's say if any individual in this team is not able to communicate effectively about their ideas, or they're not able to give a valuable input, what inevitably happens is that they are sort of sidelined, where they are not able to effectively be a part of the group, where they are not able to share information, or where they are not able to share ideas, which could probably result in them losing the job or being considered as a not valuable employee. Now let's understand the silent power of communication. So what do I mean by the silent power of communication? Now let's say there are some top executives. Do you really think the top executives are there because of their education from a reputed college, or their education of having some sort of a degree? No, it doesn't usually, their executive position is not necessarily or mostly not connected to their degree or the college they have achieved the degree. No, it is how effective are they in communicating their ideas, in negotiating, and in pursuing their team to get a desired output. It is practiced every day in mine and your life as well. When you have a conflict between your family members, or with your brother or a sister, or even it could be with your spouse, you can use your language to communicate and be clear about what you intend to tell them and what they have inevitably understood, which could have, this miscommunication or a misunderstanding is what inevitably leads to a lot of problems. So, to address these things effectively, you need to know how to communicate clearly and concisely. Master your communication and you control your opportunities. If you ignore it, you will be drowned in the noise.